What's going on, Wash fam? My name is Rusty. I'm here to make you guys feel more comfortable and more confident on your next pressure washing job. Whether it's your first job or your 500th job, make sure to stick around because there will be something to learn in this video. Today we're going to go over the pricing strategies that I use to stay profitable, stay in business, and stay washing. I'm personally going on my 6th year of full-time pressure washing, so I've used about every pricing method that you can think of. Without a bulletproof pricing structure, your company will begin to sink. Washing is the easy part, but maintaining a successful business in the long run is going to be the biggest challenge that you face. Before we actually dive into the pricing method that I do want to share with you, I quickly want to make one thing very clear. Understand your local market conditions and understand the price range for your services in your area. My price for a roof wash and Jim's price for a roof wash out in California is going to be two totally separate prices. The best advice I can give on this is just reach out to fellow washers and be honest with them and upfront with them. Introduce yourself and ask if they'd be open to helping you on pricing in your local area. I promise you, if you make enough calls, you will find someone willing to help. With that being said, don't take these example numbers that we're going to go over and literally apply them to your business. Now that that's clear, let's jump into a bulletproof method that I myself use and many other reputable washers use as well. And this is pricing by the square foot. As we move forward in this video, you'll understand why this is so beneficial. But first, let's just go over exactly how to do this. In this example, the roof is going to be 2,500 square feet. We're going to say the house is 2,200 square feet. And I'm going to use the driveway for a seal job. So we're going to say this is 800 square feet. And whether the job is residential, commercial, you're going to be running into roofs, houses or buildings, driveways or parking lots, or hardscapes that are bricks, hardscapes that are cement. For this residential job, we're going to use this for a seal example. So just to understand, each service is going to be priced at a different price per square foot, obviously, but the things you want to weigh into consideration is overhead, the material used, how intense the physical labor is, the value that you're bringing to the customer. There's just so many things that go in to the price of your square foot, but I'm going to try to cover it. So let's say for the whole package, for the driveway seal job, we're going to be at $1.50 a square foot. This is entire project covering materials, resanding, cleaning, sealing. $1.50 per square foot. House wash, let's say 0.25. Roof wash, 0.35 per square foot. So like I was saying, these numbers are going to alter depending on your area. They can be way higher, and unfortunately they can be way lower than this. So that's just going to depend on your own research. But let's go over what this is going to look like in your final line itemized estimate. Okay, so we have driveway clean sand seal, 800 square feet times the $1.50 per square foot comes out to $1,200. House wash comes out to $550 based on square foot. Roof wash comes out to $875 based on the square foot again. With doing your market research and understanding where your competitors are at, that's going to give you the missing pieces to this formula. So you can start implementing your market average into this formula and then getting very accurate numbers. I want to point out why this pricing structure is so beneficial for your business. Number one, this is going to allow you to be consistent throughout your pricing. There's no more guesswork when the neighbor of someone you already did says, well, you did his house for X amount of dollars. Why is mine this? And then now you're kind of stuck in this weird lingo of, no, you have a price and then it's, okay, the neighbor's house was this square foot, and based on my rates, his amount came out to this. Your house is bigger or smaller, so your rate came out to this. It keeps you looking professional in that scenario. Another huge reason this is so beneficial is because you're going to adjust your pricing as you grow, as you get better at your craft, as you become more valuable to the community. this number is going to change. And also with the economy shifts that we're going through, this number needs to be teetered with. So say you're at $1.50 a square foot for a driveway clean sand and seal, and you're selling about 80 to 90% of your jobs, then you might want to boost this 150 up a little bit and try to get maybe a 60 to 70% landing ratio and just play around with it in that sense. So don't quote me on the percentages of where you should be at. I think there's no exact number. There's what a lot of gurus would say you should be at, but regardless, find what works for you. If you're selling way too many jobs, you can probably raise your price. If you're not selling enough jobs, then you can lower your price. But with this structure, you'll be able to teeter both ways and find that perfect spot for your business. There's a few other things that I don't necessarily want to discuss. I just want you to understand this structure, but this number can change too depending on the style of business you have. If you're a one-man show or if you're a 4 to 5 truck operation, this number will most likely be different. Things like that, there's cases where this can change, but don't think about that for now. Just get used to this structure in general if it's not something you're already doing. Now that you understand pricing by the square foot, let's jump into pricing things that may not be so measurable or just don't need to be measured for an accurate estimate. Okay, we're gonna move on to things that can't be measured or don't need to be measured. This is something that I get called all the time for estimates. It is your standard 2-car driveway, standard walkway. They want it to be cleaned. If you want to go show some face, boost your chance of selling this job, by all means, find your price per square foot for cleaning cement and then do the formula that we already discussed. If you have a bit of lead flow coming in and you necessarily don't have the time or don't need to go show face for a small job like this, you can do what I do. And I do all these jobs, these standard 2-car driveway washes, for one flat rate price. I know it's going to take me a certain amount of time, and I know what I want per hour in my business. I know what I need per hour in my business. So that's what this will come out to. Typically, no matter how dirty it is, no matter what obstacles I may run into, for the most part, I'm gonna get these done really quick, and I know exactly how long it's going to take me, and that's with some years of experience. But once you start doing a few like this, you'll understand what I'm saying, and it will be really easy to just price right over the phone. So this driveway segment of the video that we just discussed, this falls into the doesn't need to be measured category. And then now let's move on to the can't be measured category, and that's going to be maybe like a funky shaped pool deck. You can get a guesstimate. I always tell customers, like, if this was a paver pool patio, my price may not be spot on, but I go off of my measurements and I do the best I can. But say they have this rock structure waterfall. This is where this method doesn't need to be measured comes into play. You can look at that, you know your procedure, you know how you're gonna attack it. You can put a good time frame on how long it's going to take, and then do your pricing from there. And just from experience, you guys, don't look at things like this and like the driveway and other structures that are not measurable. Don't do the numbers in your head assuming everything is gonna go quick and fast like that, because, you know, there's other factors that could slow these jobs down. So price it out as if you're possibly gonna run into some speed bumps. That way you're not losing money or kicking yourself in the butt if everything didn't go perfectly planned. Now that you understand the structure of this pricing strategy, let's discuss when and why you adjust these prices, whether that's up or down. Moving on, first let's answer when and why you should adjust your pricing. So we've kind of discussed that in the previous segment of this whiteboard lesson. When you adjust up is when you're selling a lot of jobs. Time to raise your price a little bit. When you're not selling a lot of jobs, time for your price to go down a little bit. So let's move on from other scenarios than the one that we already covered. One of the main ones you adjust your prices up is when your materials and your overhead goes up. You just hired your first employee. Maybe you have another rig out on the road. You outsourced something to where your business now needs more money to continue to grow. It's time to raise your prices up. When you are becoming more valuable to a community or into your tire area in general, that is when it's time to raise your prices as well. Even if materials and overhead stays the same, but you were at a square foot price that was not selling as much, but then as people saw your reputation, the great work that you do, they were buying your service like that. Now it's time to boost your price per square foot a little bit. And it's not to get over on any of your customers. It's not to gyp anyone. Like, you're not trying to skyrocket your prices, but you're just becoming more valuable to a certain area. So in the exchange of money for value, you deserve a little more money because you're providing a lot better value than probably the last guy in that area. Okay, so adjusting your price down, this is what I personally do. This is not the one and only way to price jobs, but this is just what has worked for me. And again, what has kept me in business and kept me growing, kept me washing. My price per square foot is coming down on customers that have stuck with my business from the beginning or for a very long time. I have a good network of people that I am their go-to person. I know I'm going to get continuous jobs from them. I know they have already given me multiple jobs. I let them know that they are getting a discounted price. Rather than lowering my price per square foot, I'll just keep everything the same and say, hey, look, these are my prices for new customers because we have built a great relationship. As you can see in the estimate, I've marked 15% off of your total bill. I marked 10% off of your total bill. Just depending who it is, what they've done, that's kind of the general knockoff I'll do for these great clients that just keep returning and returning and returning. Let me update this for you guys in case you're taking notes. Okay. Moving on to the next point of when your price should go down is for bulk work. Let me make this very clear. And you probably know this by now. If you don't, bulk work does not mean someone saying they're going to get you more jobs and someone saying we'll do this down the road. That happens about 2 to 5% of the time. So what I mean by bulk work is customers saying two things. Customers saying, hey, I have 5 neighbors interested in your service. If you give us some type of discount, we'd all like to move forward with you. And from there, that is bulk work. You give them a price, I will knock this off if all of you guys sign the contract. If X amount of people back out, this discount and deal is no longer on. So that's what I mean by bulk work. And then in the same notion, we're going to do high volume. So this one is very debatable. It is something I do. I know some people that don't do it at all and do it even more heavily than I do it. So if I'm heading to a job and they have a very large square foot for the roof, very large square foot for the house, very large square foot for the driveway, walkway clean or driveway, walkway sand and seal project, I'm going to let them know because of the volume, I'm going to knock my price down a little bit. This is just more so a technique to hopefully land the job because with that big volume, it's going to be a nice high ticket job. On the same notion, you don't deserve less because it's a higher volume of work. It's just a tactic I use. It does work a lot of the time, and I'm really not taking that much off. It's just to kind of say, hey, gave you the discount. They feel that like they won, they got a discount. And for the most part, it works out. This is optional. You guys do not have to do it. You don't have to try it. You can give it a shot. You may like it, you may not. But for me personally, just a little something that I like to do. I don't mind shaving a little off the top for a huge high volume job. One thing I forgot to mention really quick before we move on, the square foot pricing structure that we went over, the same rule and techniques apply to linear foot. But all the techniques and methods that we went over, same thing, just linear foot instead of square foot. Something worth mentioning in this video is efficiency. Efficiency is ultimately the name of the game. Aside from perfecting your craft and a few other things, upgrading your equipment is ultimately going to be the biggest way to boost your efficiency in this business. With the equipment I started with, jobs would take me 1 to 2 days that now take me literally anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. So it's almost unbelievable, but if you're in this business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're not quite there yet, you will find out eventually. The last thing you guys need to understand is the importance of subscribing to my channel. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you guys want to join the family, consider hitting the subscribe button. I have tons of new pressure washing content coming out, tons of previous pressure washing content that has helped thousands of washers become a little bit more confident in their next job. Next video, I'll be sharing some tips on soft washing that you would only hear from some seasoned dudes. Make sure you don't miss that one, but I will see you guys next time. As always, much love, fam. Peace.